The name is Rich. Today we're going to graph the 5 basic function. A lot of people sometimes have problem with graphing the basics. Thought it was a good idea to start with the basic and see how it goes. We have the first function we call the linear function. It starts with the exponent 1. The linear function basically means a line. So we have a line function. And that line function looks like this. This one, it's a positive one. If that x had a negative 1 in front of it, a negative, the line will look to the left because you have all your negative values on your left. Again, if it's positive, it will be on your right. As you can see, this function has a middle part to it. And that middle part will start with the basic. With the basic, we start from the 0. We have 4 of them. We have the linear, we have the quadratic equation, the parabola, and then we have the cubic, and then we have the absolute value. All of those starts from the center. So we're going to start from the center. We're going to start with 0. For linear, you only really need 2 points, but for today we're going to go ahead and do 3. So we start from the center. We pick a value to the left, which is -1, and a value to the right, which is 1. Now, when you put -1 into the function, you have -1. 0, you put 0, you get 0. 1, you get 1. And that's the table for a basic function. Now we're going to graph this. We start at -1, we get -1. That's our first point. 0, second point. 1 and 1. 1, 1. And here's our graph. So we can graph this. Done with the basic function. As far as for domain, always talking about from left to right, and that's referred to the x values. Okay. For the x values, when we're going to look, we got to look on the left and on the right. Is the graph is going on the left? Yes, it's going on the left. Looks like it's going down, but it's also going to the left. So we're going to say -infinity. And when we say -infinity, we don't have a fixed value for -infinity. So we're going to put a parenthesis. There's a difference. Parenthesis means not equal to, and bracket means equal to. So if it's -infinity, it's not equal to, because you don't know what the value is. So we're going to put -infinity for the domain. So for domain, we're going to say -infinity to +infinity. And for the range, we're talking about the y value from down and up. This case, the graph, yes, looks like it's going down, and it also looks like it's going up. So we're going to say there's no limit on those two, because it's going to continue to go up. It's going to continue to go down, it's going to continue to go up. So we're going to say the range will be -infinity to +infinity. And that's for the linear function. And for the square function, okay, the name of that is the squaring function. So of course, that shape will be a U shape. And we call those parabola. And it has a center. And the center will be here. We call the center. We have a specific name for that. Later on we can get to it. But the center will have that. It'll be at 0 also. So we're going to start at the center. 0. -1 and +1. Now, if you like to, you can always pick additional value going to the left, additional value going to the right. if you're not sure of how the graph's supposed to look like, you can always pick additional values. So we're going to go ahead and do this with 3 points. Okay, you will see. When we put -1 in, we'll get, when we square it, it's going to give us 1. So we'll have 1 for y. When we put in 0, we'll get 0. When we put in 1, we'll get 1. So, and to graph this, at -1 will be 1. 0 will be 0. 1 will be 1. As you can see, the graph, if we say it's going to look like a U shape, we're to graph this looking like a U. And if you continue to say it, like I said, you pick -2, you will get -2, you will get 4. Let's say if we pick -2, -4 will be up here. If you pick +2, you will get 4 up here. So that will also fall in the graph, as you can see. For the domain, we're always going to look from left to right for the domain. You can see that on the left to right, the graph looks like it's going left. But as it goes up, it's going left. So we're going to say, and it will never stop because it's going to continue to go up. The more it goes up, the more it goes to the left. So we're going to say -infinity for the domain to +infinity. Because it does the same thing going to the right also. For the range, we got to look and see where it starts. From the bottom, how far it gets to the bottom, it's at 0. So we're going to say, since it's equal, it actually sits at 0. We're going to say from 0 to +infinity. We're going to put a parenthesis in +infinity because infinity doesn't have a value. The third one, which is the last one we're going to do, is the cubic function. Cubing function. And that function, of course, as we have this, it starts from left to right, and this one starts from left to right. And that function looked like this. Okay? And it has a center also. The center will be right here. We're going to start at 0, 0, because all the basic ones, 0, 0, -1, -2, okay? If the higher the exponent goes, you know, you want to use a little bit more value, but of course the value is going to be bigger, so you don't want to use too big of a value. You just want to use small values close to 0, and 1 and 2. When we put in -1, you're gonna get -8. When you put when you put -2, you're gonna get -8. When you put -1, you're gonna get -1. When you put 0, 0, 1, you get 1, 2, you get 8. Now we can graph our function. Our function, we have -2. For the purpose of space, we're going to go by 2's. So we're going to mark this up. This is 2, 4, 6, and that will be 8. -2, -4, -6, that will be -8. So we're going to say -2, -8 will be down here. -1, you get -1 here. 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2 will get 8. And then the graph goes like this. Alright. Now, for the domain, as we can see, does this graph looks like it's going to the left? Yes, it's going to the left as it goes down. The more it goes down, the more left it goes. It never stops. So we're going to say -infinity to +infinity. Now, as far as the range, down and up. Is it going down? Yes. So it's going to be going negative infinity to positive infinity. Now that's the first three. We're going to do the additional two. And if you guys have any questions, leave any mark for questions, and then I'll answer the questions. So I'll see you guys. I'll do the other two, and on the next section, you guys will be able to see it.